What up, anime fans? It's Gozen,
And Kid Kai.
and we're here to talk about episode 43 of Dragon Ball Super. Kid Kai, what are your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts. Well, honestly, the episode's it's terrible. It's really fucking bad. I'm not gonna lie. If there was ever anything in Super that was a filler, this is it. But it's not a complete disaster. Were a few things to point out. I do like one of the things that I saw was I love Pan's love for Piccolo that she clearly inherited from her father Gohan, who also had a love for Piccolo, and I love that Piccolo's now the world's strongest babysitter.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know about strongest, but at least he's the best. Like he's really cool babysitter, and it has been funny to watch just Piccolo grow. And this is not gonna be, let's say, the most interesting in regards to action, which is what Dragon Ball Z is known for, right? But at the same time, we do get a bunch of characterization in this episode, which, although is definitely filler and somewhat ridiculous at times, it's interesting because we see Piccolo. Yeah, he's definitely growing with Pan, and he loves her. It's clear, and the scene is awesome where he knows all these things. He knows how she likes her food. She knows that the carrots go before everything else, and he knows everything about taking care of Pan. And then when he goes to leave, he can't even bring himself to leave, and he ends up just staying because he doesn't want to leave, doesn't want to be
Can't
without her.
separate himself from her.
Yeah, so obviously, like, we love that part. We can't deny that. It's weird. Goku's key stuff is weird because we assume, like, why doesn't he just take a sensu bean? Like, if what we know about sensu beans so far is true, then that would fix everything. But I guess since he hasn't thought of it, it may be just a new instance of Goku's stupidity in Super, or it may be.
They definitely made him even more stupid than he was in Z. But the thing is, there's also other methods for healing him if the sensu bean doesn't work. Dende can heal. Also, Kabito Kai can heal.
Yeah, I guess they just. It's not like, I don't even think it's the point that they can't heal. Like, if this was like an action episode, like, you definitely get him healed. But I guess they wanted to explore some different parts of his character. So they're like, okay, this guy is always fighting, is always strong. Let's take away his strength for a little while so we can go back to it later. And now let's grow his family side, because we haven't really seen him, like, it's not a show really about family, but I did like it because it kind of shows that even without his strength, he called himself an old grandpa, and Piccolo's like, Goku, you are an old grandpa. So that was funny. And it shows how there's more to life than fighting. And he saw that, and he was surprised that he could enjoy a day without training. There's more to life than training, and that was interesting. And what was interesting for me was how Gohan turned down that position to be a prof's assistant. Like, I think that was great because that means he'll probably have more time for training. He said for Pan, but at the same time, I feel like the more he moves away from that scholarly world, the more he's going to be drawn to the training world.
Right, and I agree because he doesn't have to be taking care of Pan the whole time, especially with Piccolo being around, and obviously Videl, Pan's mother, and Hercule.
Yeah, Hercule definitely too.
Hercule's there, Majin Buu, or as Hercule would call
I don't know
him,
if I
Mr. Buu.
trust. Would you trust Majin Buu with your baby?
No,
Yeah.
you wouldn't trust Majin Buu with your baby, but he's there with Hercule all the time. So he's gonna be around the kid. But he has shown a caring side when he saved that puppy in Dragon Ball Z, but that's a different story. That's besides the point of this episode. Yeah, it's interesting. It's just a very terrible transition. I like that they try and do some character development outside of fighting, but the transition was god awful. Like a 1 out of 10 in terms of transition.
It's not believable. Like, I don't know. It's not really believable, Goku's injury. Like, I feel like it should have, like, that's cool if you want to explore the human side of Goku, because this other side's almost like the Saiyan side, and now we're getting some of the Saiyan humanity side. And if we want
to even apply the humanity thing to an alien,
well, I assume we can, because we can in other ways, like love and like all this other stuff. But Yeah, so
with
we're
Goku.
seeing a human, in quotes, side of Goku, which is cool. Like I'm definitely down to explore that. Um, let's see. There's also Pan and her doing crazy ass shit in this episode. So
Right. There's so
yeah,
much to talk about
peel
here.
off, peel
Pilaf
off.
was unnecessary. Pilaf and crew was unnecessary.
Well, I
I hope
mean,
they are never brought back into Super. They're so unnecessary and so stupid. I even thought they were stupid in Dragon Ball when they were actually dangerous, let alone now.
yeah, peel off. So peel off is definitely a joke, and like when you see him, you know it's either comic relief or just filler. Like
Yeah, really bad
it's
comic relief.
it's a vehicle through which to explore other things, and I mean, like I said last episode, we can't take these episodes seriously, but it was interesting to talk about Pan and her power, right? So we get Pilaf, who, along with his crew, accidentally kidnap Pan, and then after that, they end up, she ends up pooing her pants. Or
Right, pulling her pants, and then they're
shitting her
arguing who's
pants.
gonna change her diapers and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
and then they freak out because they can't open a window, and then they end up in space
Space,
somehow.
and
So
because they hit
whatever.
buttons, and then somehow she unleashes some incredible hidden potential at like 1.5 years old.
Which what I wanted to talk about was the implications. Which even though like the episode itself is kind of out there, like the implications would be interesting. So Gohan, we knew had hidden potential, right? And like amazing, like more potential than Goku and Vegeta. So, what's interesting is Pan is shown to have even more potential than Gohan did at that age, right? No one would think that her flying could be possible. No one would think that her powering up at this point could be possible. And apparently she can breathe in space now, which I thought only like a Super Saiyan God could do, but whatever.
Yeah,
Besides,
I don't.
that's besides the point. But so it seems like the less Saiyan you are, the more powerful your potential is, which is kind of strange.
Beyond, no, I think it's actually extraordinarily stupid. 50-50 made sense as potential because you pick up both characteristics, but you're becoming so diluted that you're losing that Saiyan thing, and humans are much, much, much weaker than Saiyans, who in turn are much weaker than the gods, but that's besides the point. My point is her potential is, I think, highly exaggerated. She's only 1/4% Saiyan. I think she should have less potential than full-blooded Saiyans as well as half-blooded Saiyans. But whatever. It's
Yeah, well, we don't know how the
it's poor
biology
delivery.
works, right? We don't know how the biology works. Like, maybe there's something in Saiyan DNA which reacts good to human DNA, and so the more human you are, the more stronger it feeds into the Saiyan side. I'm not sure. Like, we don't really know, but it's definitely suggesting that. And
But
I
if you
mean,
have less Saiyan to feed into, shouldn't your power technically be weaker?
no, because it depends how it works, right? I mean, yes,
So
if-
1/100th
because
of a Super Saiyan is
we
stronger.
seen that pure Super Saiyan isn't as good as Super Saiyan mixed with humans.
Right,
So
the hybrid is the ultimate form.
well,
and-
maybe not.
Well,
We'll
it
see.
depends. If you want to take into movies, then Broly, a full-blooded Saiyan, has the largest potential by far seen.
Yeah, but he still lost because he sucks.
Yeah, well, that movie, a lot of people don't like it. I like it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I just don't like this like fucking Vegeta
being scared of
being
everybody.
scared.
Like,
Like,
oh, bitch.
stop being scared, Vegeta. Just like why are you going from prideful 1 second to the scaredest little bitch the other second?
Man, he wasn't
like,
scared of Frieza. I don't know why the fuck he's scared of everybody else all of a sudden. And
Well, like,
Frieza was a huge difference.
he shouldn't be scared of Beerus, and he definitely shouldn't be like anymore. Like whatever, I get he's strong, but yeah, there's a balance between that they should strike between carefree Goku and like off so scared Vegeta. Anyways, Goku saw Bulma's sagging breasts. Comments on that, Kid Guy.
Funniest scene by far in the episode. It made me giggle. That Goku appears in hers. I thought he'd appear in some random woman's apartment and something funny would ensue, which would have been better writing. But again,
We didn't know what the fuck would happen.
Bulma running into Goku, and then her being embarrassed that he saw her sagging breast, even though in Dragon Ball he's seen her naked at least like a million times, even though
Yeah.
the million is
When they were
exaggerated.
perky, right?
Exactly.
But I mean, I feel bad. Like, stop talking about Bulma's sagging breasts,
And then
guys. Like,
Vegeta's also
stop.
embarrassed at the same time. Again,
Vegeta.
Vegeta feeling all these silly emotions. Like,
Well, but it's not silly. I mean, you don't want your rival to see your wife's boobs.
right, you don't. But at the same time, it's like he's supposed to be this like guy that's not overly caring, and then like he should have made like a smart ass remark about towards him as opposed to just going red. I don't know why Vegeta went red.
Yeah, well, again, we're seeing now like a more humane side of Vegeta too. So they're really maybe it shows that culture is king rather than biology because these guys are becoming a lot more human than we'd have expected them
Well, right, but at the same time, it's like I don't understand how they're losing a lot of these same characteristics which are engraved in their DNA, such as like Vegeta used to be the badass Prince of Saiyans. Now he's like he's starting to pick up on bad human qualities. Like I don't know how.
Well, I don't know if it's bad, man. Like it's funny, but I wouldn't say it's bad.
Okay, like him being scared of every other character.
That's
Come
not
on.
that's definitely the Saiyan in him. He was like that way before. Like that Broly movie is not like
Yeah, but why is he dancing when Beerus comes to entertain him? Like he's
yeah,
like
I don't
this-
get why is fucking Vegeta wearing aprons? Like they're using him too much for humor. Like they're hurting his character, man. Like Vegeta's fucking cool, man. Like you guys should check out our top 10 like coolest Dragon Ball Super characters. Like Vegeta is fucking cool, and they shouldn't like fucking be emasculating him and shit.
No, I agree with you, and it's just pure silliness of what they're doing, of making him seem weaker and weaker in terms of character. But whatever, I'm not writing this, so
We're just judging, but yeah, like we're saying, like we're not gonna be too crazy and harsh about like these filler episodes, which they definitely are. Like some people are thinking, oh, maybe it's not filler, maybe it shouldn't be considered filler. I think it definitely should.
well, it definitely should be considered filler. I mean, it's not it's much lower than what we usually get from Super, and Super is I like Super. Super can be receive in general a good grade in terms of anime writing quality and other things like that, but this episode is just so bad for me. Like
Yeah.
overall, like a 4 out of 10 personally, and that's the worst I've given for a Super episode. It was it's a filler, whatever. I hope they don't last long. I am looking forward to the one that they announced where they're gonna visit planet Vegeta in Universe 6 and they're gonna meet Kaba and potentially other Saiyans, and that is gonna have a lot of
Yeah.
content, in my opinion, to talk about.
I'm definitely excited about that. The preview episode was still building off of the fact that Goku does not have full use of his power, and it seemed like we shouldn't get our hopes up. But we'll see. Again, with these episodes, we're most focusing on the humor, and it's worth it. Like it's worth watching. Like I enjoyed it, and me and Kid Kai are joking around a lot with it. But yeah, I mean, what Dragon Ball does best is fighting, and unfortunately, slice of life is not what they do best.
It's an action anime, man. That's what I always liked about it. It's an action anime. I go for action. I don't go for other things. If I want slice of life, I'll go watch Clannad and Clannad After Story. If I want
beautiful.
if I want one of the most well-rounded anime, I'd go watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. You know what I mean? If I want a motivating anime, I'll go watch Gurren Lagann and stuff like that. But I think in general, they should just stick to what they do best.
All right.
All right. Final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Again, guys, this is not best Dragon Ball Super, but it's funny. Don't take it too seriously. What about you, Kikai?
Yeah, I agree with you, honestly. Just don't judge the whole show by this episode. Anyways, like I said, I give it a 4 out of 10. Not bad. It has some funny scenes, but that's about it for me.
All right, guys. So that was episode 43 review. You should also check out our top 10 coolest Dragon Ball Super characters, and we'll see you next time.
All right, see you later, Space Cowboys.